Dalton's mayor and the village's board of trustees after multiple members did not attend tonight's monthly meeting.
000. It started like any other dull local board meeting, a typical Tuesday in Dalton, Illinois. But then Mayor Tiffany Henyard took center stage alone. No trustees showed up, no quorum was present, just her and a microphone. What came next wasn't a meeting or governance. It was a spectacle, pure theater. A bold, defiant act aimed not at the board, but at a shrinking audience, and more importantly, the cameras. "This is not a Q&A," she declared. "This is my statement." Just like that, Dalton's political circus had found its newest star. But this was only the opening act. Behind the scenes, trouble was already closing in. The harshest blow wasn't from the press or political rivals, but from within her own camp. Leaked footage, allegedly from her own team, surfaced online, what some are calling the greatest betrayal of 2025. Others say it's karma catching up. Either way, this shocking twist sent tremors through her power base. And this was just the beginning. Did you see it coming? Let me know in the comments. From appointing a new village administrator and attorney without approval to dragging her personal lawyer into a canceled meeting just to scold trustees for not showing, Tiffany's behavior grew more erratic, desperate, and downright unhinged. It seemed like she was desperately clinging to power as it slipped away. If you think that's dramatic, wait for this. As Tiffany's influence crumbled, the Illinois Attorney General stepped in. Wamerl's office ruled that Dalton violated the Open Meetings Act twice in June and July. Why? Because under Henyard's leadership, Village Hall looked more like a fortress. Doors locked tight, seating limited, public access denied, all triggered by a nasty letter written in blue marker calling her and her mother losers. A blue marker. That was enough to lock down public meetings. Even more absurd, the letter didn't arrive until after the meetings were over. The Attorney General called it an overreaction, completely unjustified. Overreaction has been the theme of Tiffany's entire reign. Speaking of overreach, wait till you hear about the spending. After months of delay, investigators finally got hold of Henyard's township credit card records. What they found was staggering. $67,000 spent on travel in just 5 months. And that's only what was charged to the township. Add what she billed to Dalton, and the total soars well past $100,000. Her excuse? Conference attendance. Yeah, right. Because nothing says public service like first-class flights and 5-star hotels. Remember Keith Freeman? Her former right-hand man, the keeper of all her secrets? When Tiffany suspected he was working with the FBI, she tried to fire him, but the board never approved his removal. So despite Tiffany's shady moves, Keith remained, village administrator, still in power, still with access, and still dangerous. Rumor has it he has receipts, real evidence that can't be buried. It's believed he struck a deal with federal investigators, which is exactly why Tiffany rushed to cut him loose. But her plan failed once again. Let me ask you, if you were Keith, would you stay quiet? Things got darker. Freeman isn't innocent either. He faces charges of bankruptcy fraud and retaliating against employees who refuse to follow Tiffany's orders. Instead of protecting him, Henyard threw him under the bus. A classic survival move that backfired spectacularly. Once she cut Freeman loose, he flipped the script. Now, 3 former employees have sued Henyard's administration. One says she was fired for refusing to be a yes woman. Another claims Henyard stalled his business license for personal gain. Then there's Dwayne Thrash, former maintenance manager, who says he was pushed out for refusing to help replace a school board attorney with a more compliant candidate. He's suing, alleging constitutional violations and wrongful termination. The unraveling continues, with every move exposing more of the chaos inside Dalton's leadership. See the pattern here? Tiffany's reign has turned Dalton into a revolving courtroom, and that door just keeps spinning. Every few weeks there's a new scandal, a new betrayal, a new mess to clean up, or more often, cover up. But the real shocker came from someone no one expected. Carmen Carrile. Carrile, a former ally on the Thornton Township Board, broke her silence with a bang. "I'm speaking out," she declared. I believe Henyard has engaged in unethical and predatory behavior throughout her time in office. She didn't whisper it, she put it out there loud and clear, and she didn't stop there. Carilli accused Henyard of manipulating employees, vendors, and residents, all to build a facade of power. A fake image of success funded by the very taxpayers now demanding answers. And you know what? She might be onto something, because Henyard's own words are starting to come back to haunt her. In her latest meltdown, she said, "That's what all the hate is about. Your supermayor became too powerful too quickly. It would almost be funny if it weren't so dangerous." Let me know in the comments. Do you think she actually believes her own hype? Here's the real kicker. Tiffany didn't just brush off Carmen's accusations with denial. No, she responded with mockery. She called her Lion Carilli and laughed off the betrayal like high school drama. But in that moment, she exposed more than she intended. She admitted, without saying it, outright, that Carmen had been there through it all, in the rooms, at the meetings, hearing things, seeing things Tiffany never wanted anyone to know. Carilli even recalled an incident where Tiffany pressured her into lying about a shady foundation, trying to pin the blame on someone else. Carmen refused, and that, my friends, was the beginning of the end. Now residents aren't just whispering in shadows, they're standing up. One attendee at a recent meeting interrupted Tiffany's rant with a chilling truth. The residents already know you're stealing from them. The room went dead silent, but Tiffany didn't flinch. Instead, she doubled down, claiming she was on a divine mission, calling herself rare and unique. It was surreal, like watching someone perform for an audience that no longer exists. This isn't leadership. This is delusion on full display. So where does all this leave us? With federal investigators closing in on Dalton, lawsuits stacking up like unpaid bills, former allies turning on her, insiders leaking info, and the public growing louder. And yet, Tiffany clings to her platform, microphone, and fantasy, Ed. No spin, no supermayor rebranding, no finger-pointing, or blame game will undo the damage. Tiffany Henyard built her empire on manipulation and intimidation, but it's crumbling, one betrayal at a time. Let me know in the comments, do you think this is the final chapter for Tiffany Henyard, or is the biggest twist still to come? And if this breakdown was eye-opening, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned, because trust me, this story is far from over. Oh, and Tiffany's spending didn't stop there. She charged Dalton over $100,000 in travel expenses. Yep, you heard that right. All justified, according to her, as conference attendance. Really, Tiffany? Because nothing screams public service like first-class flights and luxury hotel stays. Now remember Keith Freeman, her once loyal right-hand man? The one who knew all the dirty secrets? Tiffany tried to dump him the moment she got wind of him, possibly cooperating with the FBI. But plot twist, the board didn't approve his removal. So while Tiffany made all her shady appointments, Keith was still the village administrator. Yep, still in charge, still with access, and still dangerous. Word on the street is Keith has real-time evidence, receipts that can't be buried. Rumors swirl that he struck a deal with federal investigators, and that's why Tiffany moved so fast to cut him loose. But, like everything else, her plan crumbled. Let me ask you this. If you were in Keith's shoes, would you stay quiet? Here's where it takes a darker turn. Freeman's not exactly a saint himself. He's facing serious charges, bankruptcy, fraud, and retaliation against employees who refuse to follow Tiffany's orders. But instead of protecting her ally, Henyard threw him to the wolves, a classic survival move. Except it backfired. The moment she turned on him, Freeman flipped the script. Now 3 employees are suing her administration. One claims she was fired for refusing to be a yes man. Another alleges Henyard stalled his business license for shady reasons. Then there's Dwayne Thrash, the former maintenance manager who says he was ousted after refusing to help replace a school board attorney with someone more cooperative. Now he's suing, claiming constitutional violations and wrongful termination. See the pattern? Tiffany's administration has turned Dalton, into a courtroom merry-go-round, and that door just keeps spinning. Every few weeks, there's a new scandal, a fresh betrayal, and another mess to clean up, or, more often than not, cover up. But the real game changer came from someone no one saw coming, Carmen Carrile. Carrile, a former ally on the Thornton Township board, came out swinging. "I'm speaking out," she declared. "I believe Henyard has engaged in unethical and predatory behavior throughout her time in office." She didn't whisper it. She said it loud on the record for everyone to hear. But she didn't stop there. Carrile accused Henyard of manipulating employees, vendors, and residents, all to construct a false image of power, an illusion of success funded by the very taxpayers now demanding answers. And honestly, she might be right. Henyard's own words are catching up to her. In her latest meltdown, she said, "That's what all the hate is about. Your super mayor became too powerful too quickly. It would almost be laughable if it weren't. So dangerous." Tell me in the comments, do you think she actually believes her own hype? And here's the kicker. Tiffany didn't just deny Carmen's accusations. She mocked them. She called her Lion Carrile and dismissed the betrayal, like it was some kind of high school drama. But in doing so, Tiffany revealed more than she intended. She indirectly admitted that Carmen had been there, hearing the secrets, seeing the shady dealings, being part of everything Tiffany never wanted to come to light. Carrile even recalled an instance where Tiffany tried to pressure her into lying about a suspicious foundation, attempting to pin the blame on someone else. Carmen refused. And that moment, folks, marked the beginning of the end. Now the residents aren't just whispering in dark corners, they're standing up. At a recent meeting, one person interrupted Tiffany's rant with a simple but chilling truth. The residents already know you're stealing from them. The room went stone cold, but Tiffany didn't flinch. Instead, she doubled down, claiming divine purpose, calling herself rare and unique. It was like watching someone perform for an audience that had already left the building. This isn't leadership, it's delusion on full display. So where does all of this leave us? Federal investigators are now locked in on Dalton. Lawsuits are piling up like overdue bills. Former allies are flipping, insiders are leaking, and the public? They're getting louder by the day. Yet, Tiffany still clings to her platform, her microphone and her fantasy, hoping the spectacle will distract us just a little while longer. But the truth is out now. The curtain has lifted. No amount of spin, no super mayor rebranding, no finger-pointing or blame games can undo the damage. Tiffany Henyard built her empire on image and intimidation, but that empire is crumbling, one betrayal at a time. Let me know in the comments, do you think this is the final chapter for Tiffany Henyard, or is the biggest twist still to come? And if you found this breakdown eye-opening, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stick around because trust me, this story is far from over.